staff, but he was on his left hip. He had a softball. You've probably done that at home and had like a knot in your body. So that's what it looked like he was doing. Okay, now he hasn't done it.
And here we go, a Lions post-game show live from Hayes Social, 21 Mile and Hayes in Shelby Township. Lions, big win, or a win, over the San Francisco 49ers. Went in there, handled business. First half was a little shaky. My God, Lions fans in the chat. Every week, it's like watching a movie on repeat. AG's wash. This team's never going to get together. They're never going to win this game. And next thing you know, boom, here they are, the Lions, doing what the Lions do, pulling out a victory. And they just went into San Francisco. And to you, Anson, I know this was a big revenge game from last year. Do you feel they got their revenge?
Not as convincingly as I wanted.
Okay.
We got our revenge. Hey, we haven't won in San Francisco since 1975. I was ignorant to that fact when we had the show earlier today. But this was a unifying win for all sorts of Lions fans, because you wanted to play some scrubs, play some second, third teamers. There was a lot
They did that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted a convincing victory. Now, we didn't win. I said 48-27, all right? Take 8 points and go each way, the other way, and it's basically the same thing, 40-34. Lions came out. Hey, if I told you there was no punts in this game, you would have worried a little bit. That had meant that our defense wasn't showing up. We're on a road game against a team we have not beaten in their stadium since it was Candlestick. And the fact is we didn't have a great first quarter, but we kept pace. Second half, we did everything that the pessimistic and the optimistic Lions fans have come to expect in 2024. And that is handle business.
I love this. The AI always encapsulates what the chat's talking about. Mid-game, Chase showed me the chat. It was like, the Lions fans are worried about the Lions losing to the San Francisco's 49ers, and it like already predicted a loss. Now it's like Lions fans are celebratory in their victory over the San Francisco 49ers. See, there you go. There's a big banner that says revenge game. I didn't look at this as a revenge game just because San Francisco's not the team they were last year. This is not to go to the damn Super Bowl. This was a regular season game that unfortunately ended up meaning nothing in the scheme of things.
I call cap on that, bro. You play softball. If a softball team eliminated you last year, no matter how good they are, no matter what their record is, I know you, Sam. Sam Day, you got that date circled, and you're hitting 3 home runs.
I may have that date circled when the season begins, but if we're at the end of the season and the next team I have to play is to get me the #1 seed in the bye week, the circle kind of it went from pen to pencil.
It's a very specific circumstance,
and that's where it all changed for me last night. Like, I was all on board for let's just go all out against San Francisco, rah rah rah. But then it was like, wait, even if we win or lose, it's all dependent on Week 18.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Week 18 is now what I want to turn my focus to. Obviously, we have to talk a little bit about what happened tonight.
Let's talk a lot of bit about it.
I mean, what do you want to talk about? Ben Johnson went in his bag early with Jameson to get the offense rolling. The reverse, the little hook and lateral to him. And the thing I love about all the trick plays Ben Johnson does and all the fourth downs that Dan Campbell goes for, whether he gets them or not, is what it does to the other coaching staff. How many trick plays did San Francisco try tonight? And I know Kyle Shanahan's a very creative play caller. He does that. He has that in his bag. But it just always seems like forced for the other teams when it's not forced for the Lions. Even them going for it on fourth down, it just didn't seem like they really wanted to go for it. It's like, damn, we kind of have to against these guys.
You mean the Lions or the 49ers?
49ers.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And for this Lions team, I think that the most important thing was maintaining their persona. And their persona is, you're not going to beat us. It doesn't matter who's in the game for us. whether it's the first, second, or third string, doesn't matter the situation. We can be down 20, we can be up 20. We're still going to give it to you. And I got to say, I know that the standing says that this game wasn't that important. But I think that you could hang your hat on this victory to be as indicative of and as metaphoric of a win that we've had all season.
I'll give you this. I feel better after this win than I thought I would. I thought I'd be more apathetic, but I am happy that they won this game. I thought I'd just already be on Minnesota.
Brother, it's
Harold Wisley in the chat, Wilsley in the chat. Stop hating on the fans. We have a right to be nervous. Yes, you have a right to be nervous in the first half. But you know what I don't want to see is you constantly jumping off the ship, jumping on the ship. Eventually, you got to make a decision. I'm a fan. I'm going to support this team even when it's tough. And that's where I get on these fans because it's like, oh, the minute it's tough, I'm out. Oh, my God, it's the first quarter. It's over. What? No. Let the game play out, and then at the end, look back and be like, man, I didn't panic like an asshole. Like, that's where I get frustrated with the fans because the very same fans are back in the chat in the fourth quarter like, man, Super Bowl, Jared Goff, MVP. And it's like, but wait, 30 minutes ago, you thought this team couldn't win. That's where I get mad.
And
just
I feel
consistency is all I'm looking for out of you.
Well, and I have said since last year, we as Lions fans have to hold ourselves to a higher bar, which doesn't just mean expecting greatness, but it also means never giving up hope. At what point do these guys, what point do these cardiac cats need to get to absolutely have the Lions fans' faith? Because they've proven for 2 seasons that they're never out of a game.
Well, that's where I get knocked, right? Because I have that blind faith. They're down by 10 in the first quarter. Who cares? It's the first quarter. They're down by,
I didn't think we were losing.
They're down against the Texans. Okay, they're down against the Texans. Yeah. I'm not going to sit over here panicking till that clock says 0 because I know this offense can get hot and score every time they touch the ball. They're never out of a game. Even when Dan Campbell went for it on 4th down today before the half and they didn't get it,
I wasn't mad.
I wasn't mad because you knew they were getting the ball back coming out of the second half. Honestly.
But
that's why I'm
not
mad.
Not,
like, Neil Rules taught me about the numbers of that.
Sure.
Like, hey, you're going back to back. You're getting the ball. Don't you have faith that when they get the ball in the second half that they're not going to go tie the game up? And that's exactly what they did.
Hey, fuck the analytics. This is who we are.
But Dan Campbell's more of an analytics guy than people give him credit for.
Sure, and I'm not taking that away from him. But
fuck the analytics.
I did. I said fuck the analytics because it's more than analytics now. It has been a way that this team lives. And the moment that you stop going for it in situations like that, the moment your team starts to be like, why aren't we going for it, coach? Because we've been going for it like this for 3+ years. And I've been waiting to drop an F-bomb since the midday show, you know? But listen,
we're not on Fox 2 right now.
We're good. I really, this game today, I felt was such a unifying win for the fans that are over here and then the fans that are over here. This game should satisfy both camps. We went into a building, it's a different building, but the same area that we have not won in 39 years. A team that beat us last year to end our hopes. And as many of you, all of you, want to dismiss this 49er team, they're still damn good, and they're still the representatives from the NFC. And I'll tell you, as much as I've been hammering the point that the Lions have had this date circled on the calendar, I guarantee you the 49ers also had this date circled on the calendar. And, hey, they showed up. I think there was a lot of Lions fans that thought that this one was kind of over before it happened. That's why so many people were focused on the Vikings. Both teams showed up today. We got the best game out of the 49ers that I've seen them play all year. And it still was not enough to beat a depleted Lions team playing a lot of second stringers on the road in a place we haven't won in nearly 4 decades, and it still was not enough.
I'm glad we got the win. I'm happy about that. Let's see. I was looking for a chat. First, we got to get to Owen Mullen, to all the doubters. Tell me more about how they have no pass rush. Tell me more about how our secondary can't be picked apart. Tell me more about how we need to fire AG. Our defense is still elite. Elite's a stretch, but our defense is still serviceable and enough to get it done.
I think I know Owen Mullen.
Owen Mullen with the Super Chat. And by the way,
Shout out,
if you
Owen.
want your Super Chat mentioned, make sure you put it in. Super Chats, we mention them all
night.
all
We'll get
night
to 'em,
long.
for sure.
You're a priority to us, so thank you guys for being a part of this. We talked about the offense a little bit. We got to talk about Kirby Joseph. And they played a Merton Hanks montage to him because of his long neck and him doing the whole thing. He looks like Merton Hanks when he plays. It was cool to see Merton Hanks in a San Francisco uniform and then flash to Kirby. Look at J-Mo, happy as a kid in a candy store. But Kirby, 2 interceptions, now leads the league in interceptions. And they came at massive times. I mean, one got taken away off a Brian Branch penalty, which probably not the smartest penalty, but either way, we can look past that. It was pass interference. They called it on George Kittle. And then the very next play, the Rasheed Wallace ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie.
Kirby catches it and then takes it back. And that was really the end of the game. That you needed a momentum shift. You needed serve to change hands at one point, and that was the big turnover that Brock Purdy had, and it changed the game. And then, of course, he did another one. That was his second interception to Ricky Pearsall, who had a great game. I mean, God, guy gets shot in the chest and puts up 120-plus yards against us. But still, then Kirby comes in and gets that one. What Kirby Joseph means to this defense and Brian Branch, those two at free safety and strong safety, special.
1970, Dick LeBeau had 9 interceptions. It's been 54 years. Ray Crockett, we got a few different guys. Big play, Slay. 1970, Dick LeBeau was the last guy to have 9 interceptions for the Detroit Lions. Just for a little added context, Lem Barney with 8 in 1969 and 10 in 1967. But Lem Barney has that number 20 up in the rafters along with Night Train Lane and Barry Sanders. One of the greatest players in Lions history. Kirby Joseph, after 5 games without an interception, everybody's talking about, hey, he's going to set the record. He's this and that. Guys stopped throwing his way. Yeah. Teams stopped scheming to his side of the field. And they had stopped in the first half of the season going towards Branch. They've been testing Branch. Branch is a little bit, he can make some mistakes. He's just such a big hitter. But if you go Kirby's direction, you might turn that rock over.
Yeah, Kirby's a ball hawk. I mean, that's the best way. He hangs back. He's got great anticipation. He reads the quarterback's eyes. And FD with another $9.99 super chat. Make sure those super chats coming through. We'll get to them right away. I want to see Sam Darnold crying on the field next Sunday. Let's go, baby. One pride. And I want to see that cut scene from them carrying him up in the locker room after beating the third-place Packers like they were celebrating like they won a Super Bowl. Next week, cut scene, Sam Darnold on his knees crying up to the ceiling at Ford Field. I also want to see that, my man FD. Thank you for the super chat.
And we talked about it during the show today, the Ermanni and Edwards 2-4. I'm going to double down on it tonight. You do have a lot more on the line for Week 18 than I think any of us thought. As much as I told you guys to stop disrespecting the Vikings, I didn't expect them to only have 2 losses going into Week 18.
Yeah, no one did. The Vikings didn't.
But listen, hey, I'm going to tip my cap to you, homie. I know how devoted you are. You know how devoted I am. I just try and play the other side of that coin. Fact of the matter is, early on, you put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
And you got Mason Leach, who's going to be looking for you next week.
He popped up in the chat today. He did. Yes. Shout out to Mason Leach. We have a $350 bet going on. He ran his mouth early about how great the Vikings were. It was a season sweep, I predicted. $350 either way. He got the benefit of they could lose either game. And like I told you earlier, I like this scenario a lot better for me. Because if I was him, I would have been hoping that the Lions already locked it up and were mailing in Week 18. Certainly. Then you could use it, whatever, they still lost. Stephen Williams, the $4.99 super chat. Shout out for the super chat. Make sure you get them in.
Is that Arizona?
Road Warriors, undefeated on the road. Ironically, we won't play another road game until next season. That's not true. We got a big game in New Orleans coming up on February 9th. That's right. Big game in New Orleans coming up on February 9th.
I love that. So in the show, once again, I'm going to rewind to the 2-4 show we had. We talked about the inactives before this game would kind of maybe paint the picture of what we were going to see, whether we were going to see the Lions' full effort or whether we were going to see a whole bunch of, second and third stringer time. So Sorsdale, Iosika, and Teddy Bridgewater, all inactive, all right? They're not trying to get Teddy up to speed and sacrifice the guy who's been number 2 all season. Sorsdale, I thought, was the most indicative player. If he was active, then we were going to see a much weaker, not our full-strength offensive line. Now, Dan Skipper, that's a guy that you saw starting from the beginning of the game.
Mammoth individual.
That kind of told you, okay, well, maybe we are playing a little bit of our second guys. He was great tonight.
And listen, like when I was advocating for taking it easy, that's what I meant. I didn't mean shut the whole damn team down. I meant go for, if the guy's playing 50 snaps, let's get him down to 35 this game. Let's still make him active and a part of the game. And honestly, I was looking at Chase probably almost halfway through. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, I was like, I'd probably sit Gibbs down now. He's had a large workload tonight. But then he ends up going and scoring that sweet touchdown to seal the game.
First quarter,
400 total yards for the Lions today. That's amazing.
First quarter, we're in 10 yards. 10 yards to the end zone, super red zone, I'll call it. Jamar Jefferson. We didn't see Jahmyr Gibbs for an entire 10-yard possession at the goal line. You might not have been seeing all the names that you don't recognize on this team. But there was a lot of second and third string players that filtered in, and you might only see 8 to 14%
you saw them all tonight.
Trimmed off the snap percentage that you would from the starters. But, hey, we got a little bit of rest. And you know what we won't be doing on Thursday? We won't be talking to Doc Pierce about another injury.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row without a blue tent. They're showing that hook and lateral right now to J-Mo on the screen.
Fun.
Phil Mayberry. Can we give it up to Phil Mayberry with the super chat? Gibbs Tutty completed my 14-leg parlay for a nice pay. Sharing is caring. A 14-leg parlay.
That's awesome.
And then D Honey 01001. I'm an ST holder. Sold my week 18 a while ago on vacation with my wife, and nobody beats those frauds. So pissed I'm missing this game. Don't get married.
Don't be, bro. Don't be. You sold that ticket confidently knowing that we were going to win that game. I know you got your playoff tickets.
Yeah, but the don't get married part was funny. Funny to add that to the end, buddy. You get your super chats in. We'll get right to them on the post-game show. We are live at Hayes Social, the post-game show brought to you by 1800 Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Of course, we got New Holland and Sabbath Coffee as well. KG is here. Him and Justin were doing the watch party today, so I want to hear from them in a little bit. Because, when you're doing the watch party, you're so engulfed in what's happening, it's tough to process it a lot of times.
Yeah.
So when you get some time to rethink it, we can get to them. One thing I have to touch on, and KG, while you're sitting over there in the TD booth, sexy Jake Bates.
Oh.
Can you throw
right there.
Can you throw up a sexy Jake Bates? They're down at the bottom.
Take
your one. It could be Jake Bates on the couch.
This one is my new favorite right here. This one right here.
The zoom in on the crotch?
Man, yeah. Oh, you want the zoom in?
No.
Okay. I like
some
this
candid
one.
stuff going on with Jake Bates.
Yeah,
there.
man. This is
showing that big third leg.
This is Playboy centerfold worthy right here.
The cameramans did Jake Bates so wrong in this game. But honestly,
Jake Bates did himself so wrong.
But after they did that, the whole fucking game changed.
It did.
The sexy Jake Bates and that 2-inch package changed the outcome.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
There it
all
is.
Up in ya. All up in ya.
Oh, man. That is legendary.
He's able to kick the ball so hard because there's nothing to stop it.
That's the stuff of legends right there.
I got to give KG some props.
There it is.
I don't know if we have a definitive MVP of the game. I think, if anything, you two split. I said, I thought it was going to be my man Laporta. He almost had 2.
Yeah.
He had a big touchdown.
Had a good game, yeah.
Your boy J-Mo nearly hit his 1,000-yard mark.
So close.
Had a touchdown. And
So
as you
close.
said, Jared Goff would be the maestro today.
Yep.
3 touchdowns, 300-plus yards. Hey, his composure, no turnovers, no punts. Jared Goff's got to be your MVP of the game.
Yeah, he took a couple sacks that I saw the ire in the chat pop up.
I'm
but
sure.
it's like, do you want the sack or do you want the turnover? So it's okay. Sometimes just ending the play and moving on to the next one works out well. Best point differential this season, Lions are plus 200 on the season now for the #1 point differential in the league. And this comes with no defense. With all the injuries, Hanson, how can they continue to do it with all the injuries? They can't get it done with all the injuries.
They can't keep getting away with this.
You're right, though. They can, though. And they're getting healthier. And realistically, I've said it ad nauseum. Great teams go through situations where they have to have other guys step up, and then you get healthy for the playoffs. And that's exactly what we're seeing the Lions do. But we've seen so many other guys step up and be players that wouldn't normally be asked to be a major part of the system. These guys from top to bottom, 1 through 53, are ready to contribute for this run.
Before we get to Justin, we got to give a shout-out to Abhinav.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a great name. Go Lions. Love from India. Shout-out to India.
Yeah, let's go.
What's going on, Justin? Like I was saying, when you're watching the game and you're doing the watch party live, you're stuck in the game. You don't really have a time to process everything. Now that you've been able to step away for a couple of minutes, how are you feeling about this game?
I mean, it just epitomizes what the Lions are about. Like, they just continuously are able to overcome anything, truly anything. It doesn't matter what the deficit is. It doesn't matter that our defense is depleted. We have guys who just make plays. And even when Brian Branch has an off night, Kirby Joseph steps up with 2 ginormous interceptions, which is what this Lions defense is built on at this point. And then you have guys, like you spoke on it, the unknown players, like Miles Adams gets a huge sack in the middle of the game. And that's what you're going to need down the stretch. You're going to need guys to continuously step up. And on the offense, like you saw them answer the bell. They were asked to go out there and score every time they touched the ball. And they did. Every single time. They scored on almost – they didn't punt today.
No punts from either team.
No punts from either team. And they didn't turn the ball over, which is the key to victory. I mean, it's a tale of 2 seasons. The 49ers season is wrapped up in the fact that they continuously turn the ball over. They have a -7 turnover ratio, and the Lions have a +11 turnover ratio. That's what makes a good team, especially when you're a team that strives on defensive turnovers. So I just think this Lions team is literally playing with destiny.
And don't let anybody tell you that Jake Moody costs the 49ers the win. He missed 7 points, but we missed 2 points out of Jake Bates.
I get it, but, he didn't have his best game.
Is that a concern?
What, Jake Bates?
Because
no.
When you see him hit 50-plus yarders ritually, but then he's missed what? Now, 1 blocked, but he's missed 3 extra points this year?
Okay. I'm not going to worry about it. No, not a concern.
Okay,
not a concern. Steve with the $9.99 super chat. Make sure you get those super chats in. We'll get right to them. Purdy and Gibbs produced a 56-point comeback for me in my fantasy championships. Gibbs TD put me over for a G. Congratulations. And it's that time of year where those extra garbage yards or sealed touchdowns, they'll get you every single time.
Oh, may I mention?
Yeah, you may mention you're off the hook, but we got it first before Hassan Hader. Go Lions from Beirut, Lebanon. Why do the commentators seem so biased against the Lions? They seem very cold every time the Lions score.
We're Detroit.
That's just plain-ass Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yeah, but people hate Detroit.
Yeah, but for some reason, Troy Aikman is like, he just loves San Francisco, and they were so leaning San Francisco's way tonight. I'm with you. I'm totally with you, Hassan. It's biased, but what are you going to do? Joe Buck sucks. He's monotone. You could score 70 points, and Joe Buck would be like, hey, it's another touchdown for 70 points. And it's like, no, dude, you're witnessing history, Joe Buck. Do something. Get off your ass.
Listen.
And then Troy Aikman, the ultimate Lion hater.
Those boys, they will recognize in the next month.
They're going to learn today.
There's going to be a lot of people that have to. Hey, real quick, in the chat, Lebanon, India, let us know in the chat. Just type it out. Let us know how you became Lions fans. Maybe we'll read it out loud. But
and besides Lebanon and India, let us know where you're watching in the chat. It's always fun to go around the globe. We always got people in Arizona. We got people in Florida. Like my man Steve texted me. Shout out to Steve in Arizona. So let us know where you guys are watching from. It's the Lions postgame show on Woodward Sports. We are live at Hayes Social, 21 Mile and Hayes in Shelby Township. It was wall-to-wall tonight, so if you plan on coming next Sunday, I would call ahead and get your seats. Somebody booked 30 for next week already. So it's going to be a wild party here for the Lions to clinch the #1 seed against the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to get the phones up and running in a second.
All right.
KG giving me the I can't figure out the phones look. It's right here. It's right here. Everything's pretty much hooked up.
We got you, baby.
Yeah, I was charging the tablet for you. No, I was charging the tablet for you. So we're going to get to the phones coming up. Let's see. I'm in Maine rooting for them Lions from Brandon, Madison, Wisconsin, Clearwater, Florida, Tucson, Arizona, Petoskey, Michigan.
Nice.
Let's see. Purdy broke. Okay. Watching from a plane across Canada. Shout out to Canada. Fort Smith, Arkansas.
State.
Iowa, Virginia here, Lions Strong, Rockford, Mossy Head, Florida. All right, Davenport,
that
Florida.
just sounds like a fun
Hi
spot.
from Germany. My dad's friend is living in Detroit. Visited him in 2003. Been a Lions fan ever since.
Ooh, Flint Town.
Respect to those people who became Lions fans when the Lions sucked balls.
Livonia.
Shout out to Rockford. We got Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
London, UK in the house.
Livonia, Lone Tree, East Jordan,
Virginia,
Utah, Texas. So all over the globe.
bro.
We appreciate you guys
California
tuning in to the
OC.
post-game show. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And shout out to everybody watching us live on Twitter as well. Make sure you follow Woodward Sports. It's been a fun ride with us. 4 years of building up with the Lions. 4 years we started this, and the Lions were awful. We went a calendar year without them winning a game. And now it just seems like if they drop a game, it's the end of the world. Look what happened after they lost the game to the Bills. It was sky is falling. Yeah. This team's never going to do it. Oh, my God. And then what? They get right against
We've
Chicago.
been friends for 20 years. That was our worst fight after the Bills
It was
game.
because everybody was just so like, oh, my God, it's all over. But it's not about the loss. It's about who we lost. And it's like, no, man, just trust this team. Trust Dan Campbell. Trust the guys in that locker room and know that they got it handled. Like it's not going to be a dire situation no matter what happens with this team. And that's what I love about this. They went in to San Francisco today. They didn't have to play hard. They didn't even have to play their starters. And they won the game. It meant nothing in the scheme of things, but they got the W.
All right, I'm going to pick at some minor pimples here.
Oh,
I know that the chat might get mad, and you might get mad.
It wasn't a perfect game by any stretch.
And they never are. What I have not seen lately, after Zadarius Smith started his first 4 games with a sack, I have not seen true pressure on the quarterback on a constant basis, or at least a consistent basis. We had 2 sacks today. One from a guy I had to look up, Miles Adams.
Miles Adams.
And then
good old Miles. You didn't know Miles Adams?
No, and then Brian Branch came through, obviously. Yeah. But what we're not seeing is completed pressure from our front 4 or from any blitz packages that we get. How do we change that, and is it a problem?
You don't. You can't. I mean, you are what you are at this point in the season. We're not going to just all of a sudden become this massive pass pressure, getting it with 4 up front. We'll see. This team's designed to outscore you now. This is no longer we're trying to outslug you. We want to slow down the clock. We want to grind it away. They don't want to do that anymore. They understand our defense is going to get scored upon, and we got to match it. And we just got to hope we end up with the ball, final possession, like it did today, and you put it away with 40 seconds left, and a miracle's got to happen for the other team to win. And that's what Dan Campbell meant by, like, it's any means necessary now. Like, we don't have the luxury of choosing our style. This is how it is. You need to be the best offense on the planet, and our defense needs to play average.
So, Sam, are you still stuck on the fact that this wasn't a big emotional victory need tonight?
Yeah.
You still don't think that this mattered?
I think it matters for maybe 2 hours tonight. And then after
elaborate.
Because that's all you're allowed to celebrate this. That's all that you're allowed to appreciate.
It's not about celebrating. It's about the converse of what would have happened if they got to take this loss home. They got to get on a long flight.
Yeah.
They got to lose sleep going east. They've got to reset up and say, okay, well, now our back's against the wall. Obviously, their back's still against the wall.
It's the same
they
situation. They got to win either way, right?
But again, this is a game that the Lions came in August thinking would make or break their season. This is a game against a team that ended their season. And regardless of what San Francisco was in the standings coming into today, the Lions, before the season started again, hung their hat on winning in San Francisco for the first time in 39 years.
Yeah, but with new information, you can make new decisions, right?
I don't agree with that.
I know you don't, but it's the fact of the matter.
Well, but see, this team's so different. This team is all moxie, all confidence, all beat you into the ground.
Okay.
And to shed any of that moxie and confidence and just will through a loss today, I did not want to see that, even if statistically, standings-wise, it didn't matter.
If this team loses, you don't think they're going into Week 18 more motivated? You haven't seen them not go back-to-back in losses in 2 years.
I can't tell you no on that.
So that's why, we can play the hypothetical because they won, they're up, and everything's going to be good in the future. But at the same time, the hypothetical
they just
can work the other way.
They just find damn ways to win.
And Dan Campbell would use it.
Yeah, they just find ways to win. Their will is stronger than pretty much any team that certainly we've ever seen in Honolulu Blue. But when you put this team up against any other team we've watched over the last 10, 20 years, they remind you of those Patriots that are never out. They remind you of the new-look Chiefs that even when they're down and people are saying they're not that good, they just find a way. I am just praying, and I am believing that this team has that, they have that will and that culture, that extra mojo, that this is their year, man.
Yeah. And that's why nothing phases me with these guys. And that's why I said it before, and I'll say it again. If they play their game, no one on the planet can fuck with them. Nobody, period. Philip Mayberry, once again, with the super chat. Make sure you're dropping them so we can get to them right away. 33 more yards, and Flannel gets a J-Mo jersey. He should get one made with flannel sleeves. You know what? We talked about it this morning with the Wake Up Woodward crew, and it's got to be more than just the jersey. We got to get him the jersey. Then he's got to go to McDonald's and get the double cheeseburger.
But he has to wear it for a month.
But then he's got to put the ice cream on the burger and eat it. Then we're going to take him to Coney. He's got to live like J-Mo for a day. And that's the jersey isn't enough
taking him to
now.
Nicky's at 1 a.m.?
Because Flannel...
You ready, Casey? Let's do this.
Flannel wasn't only wrong, he was just crazy wrong about what J-Mo is and was.
Well, and I was on board with him, but it wasn't for anything other than the fact that he wasn't on the field. What we saw out of him towards the end of last season, nobody in the NFL was ready for this kid this year. Hey, I got this written down here. How many times have we talked about J-Mo's hands in 2024? Because that was a constant subject last year. There were some great plays and some moments.
Remember that was a knock on Jamar Chase's first year too?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it's
Remember
because they don't have the white.
preseason?
They don't have the white stripes on the football in the pros, so he's having a rough time locating it. Remember that was Jamar Chase isn't going to make it.
He was really bad in his first preseason, and the dynasty owners that took advantage of that went and swooped him up. Man, listen, this kid, he hasn't had any, transgressions or, problems. He hasn't drawn the ire of any of the fans for, about 2 weeks now?
Oh, dude, it just brought me back to something that happened in this game that cracked me up. Who was it? Was it Jennings? Who was fighting Jennings? Was it Jennings and Kirby? And then Terrion Arnold comes in at the end after Kirby shoves him into the stand. And Terrion Arnold just smacks him across the helmet, bitch slaps him right across the helmet. Dude, go to Easy's Twitter. It's up on Easy's Twitter. It was hilarious. Shane Johnson with the $4.99 Super Chat. Make sure you drop him. We'll get to you first here on the postgame show live from Hayes Social, 21 Mile and Hayes. Make sure you come out here and watch every single Lions game with us. Lions first team in NFL history with multiple wide receivers and running backs with 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Lions by 2 scores on Sunday for the number 1 seed. The real Darnold will show up, and I'm with you on that. Sam Darnold, we've gotten the best of him so far this season. the real Sam Darnold will come to the surface. And I thought it was very poetic that we got to see Josh Dobbs on the field this year, because remember last year Josh Dobbs went on a 4-game winning streak for the Vikings.
I don't even want to hear
Do you remember what
Yes.
Josh Dobbs was the savior for the Vikings? Do you remember that, Anson?
I got Dobbs up here in the corner,
They had
bro.
found their quarterback for the Vikings, Anson. Like, it's almost poetic that leading in to the game against the Vikings, who once again miraculously have found a guy. He's going to be even though he sucked every fucking where else he's gone in the NFL, now he's the guy. Josh Dobbs was the precursor to what we're going to see on Sunday, and that's going to be Sam Icy Ghost Darnold.
Are we getting into next week already? Are we ready?
I mean, I was ready this afternoon.
I know,
this game
I know.
absolutely meant nothing to me today. Absolutely. It was fun to watch your boys kick the shit out of somebody, but it was also like, can we just get to the real game? And Sunday is the real game, Sunday night.
So listen, I'm going to tell all of you guys, Sam Darnold is showing up next week. Sam Darnold is having his Baker Mayfield moment.
Okay.
All right.
How'd that work out in the playoffs?
I was going there. All right. And they're still going to make the playoffs even after they lose at Ford Field next week.
Yep.
But it's not going to be a blowout, all right? Do not sleep on this Vikings team. And by no means do I think any member of the Lions organization is sleeping on next week. We saw it today. While half the fan base was divided saying, oh, check out, just play it this way. It's not a big deal. We don't care. And I'm not saying you, but a lot of people did that. This next week, they are bringing their complete culture, and they're going to show it out on the field in Ford Field. So no matter what the Vikings do, I don't believe it will be enough.
No.
But
they don't have enough.
It will be another Cardiac Cats game, something I asked to please not give us. I wanted the clear victory. I wanted the stomping. I wanted the 48-27. Yes.
Yeah.
And this game was a lot closer than I think a lot of us thought it was going to be. Next week, that game, we are going to be on the edge of our seats, all right? Because this is the black and blue division, and it is the best division in football. But
all I ask out of anybody next week,
faith?
Yeah, when things get tough,
please
take a deep breath
and don't chat.
Say your woosahs.
Yeah, don't say they're done. They're done. Say we can do it.
Yes.
Manifest positivity. All right. This team, their culture. I've been saying the 3-letter words aren't done until we get to the Super Bowl, but I am a believer in these brand new Lions. It's not something on the field. It's something that they have put out in the universe as a culture, as a confidence, as a group of men that will not let any excuse or hurdle derail their march to history. This, I believe, is the Lions' time, and as good as the Vikings are, as good as the Eagles are, as good as the Chiefs are, if these Lions continue to play each and every game one at a time, the way that we saw them play today and the way we watched them play all season long, this is the year, bro.
It's good of you to come around finally, Anson. I'm so proud of you. This is a big moment. Week 10, that was not your attitude.
Well, it wasn't so much that. I'm trying to be, I'm not trying to go crazy, but I have so many of my good friends, and they literally I'm the sportscaster now, and they're like, bro, what do you think? What do you think? And a lot of times I try and be pessimistic and realistic. I am firmly drinking the Kool-Aid. It's not the way I used to when I was a kid, just undying faith that was stupid, I have seen this culture. I have seen a man named Dan Campbell come in here with his good buddy Brad and set the foundation with players that they believe in, that they selected, hand-selected, and they breathe this confidence into them. And it might take you 1 year, it might take you 3 years, maybe even 4, kind of way it has with Iffy. But what these guys are doing, it doesn't defy odds. It defies expectations because people expect you to be human. You expect you to be able to succumb to injuries and problems and deficiencies in your team as a whole. But these guys, there's not 53 of them. There's like 70 of them.
That's because it's the system.
100%,
it's the coaches.
Bro. It's all of it.
Like when Bill Belichick and the Patriots were on their dynasty run, they were just plugging in guys everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait a minute, this guy's good now? Why the hell is he good? He's playing like, and that's what the Lions are becoming, and that's what you've seen this season. It's like, wait a minute. No way is O'Connor getting sacks. Who the hell's this Mohammed guy?
The prophet.
All of a sudden, and it's, maybe.
Who's Miles Adams?
Miles Adams making plays. And,
really?
and that's what it is. This team has become so far evolved. The coaching staff is so far beyond what it used to be that you're building up players and you're bringing up the right guys in the system because you're no longer looking for the supreme athlete. You're looking for the guy that has the one skill that fills the hole you need, and then you plug him in there and build the system around him. That's what makes AG so good. And people, they can say what they want about AG. Nobody can do what AG has done. Nobody's ever had to do what AG's done. And if they've had to do it, they did not get the results AG has gotten. For him to have 2 starting defenses on IR, this is
real talk.
Insane that they're able to pull this off. And I just saw the stat, 32.5 points per game in the last 4 games, 16.9 in the first 12 games. Granted, that's a big difference, but guess what? They've evolved now and opened up the offense because they know this is how it's going to be. So if you're not ready for some fun offense and shitty defense, you're not ready for the playoffs with the Detroit Lions.
I guess I'm gonna pick at the Pipples. So I'm wondering how much their effectiveness, the 49ers offense against our defense today, how much of it was our injuries, our depleted, roster on the defensive side, because I don't see it as depleted as it was. No Carlton Davis, which is huge.
Missing your linebackers.
No Anzalone, obviously no Hutch. But how much of it is the script being out there, the video, the tape being out on the Lions? Are teams able to kind of understand how better to attack us now?
No, I mean, it's been the same man-to-man defense what AG runs. He's going to rush forward. They're going to man up. They're going to play press coverage.
No punts today.
Yeah.
This is a team that without Trent Williams, without Brandon Ayuk, without CMC, nobody, not even myself being on my most pessimistic, show on a Monday, nobody would have said that this team would not punt.
But would you say, what about 2 turnovers? If we're gonna give them credit for not stopping
in the fourth quarter,
the tradition,
both of them.
When do you want them?
Well, I'd like them.
When do you want them?
Hey,
like what are you talking about?
I told you today I didn't want a cardiac cast game, and we were all. Hey, it was great. I enjoyed the hell out of this game.
Yeah, it was a great game.
But I didn't I want some stops, man. I wanted to see some punts, and I guess what my worry is right now is through injury and through film. Our offenses, because look, we might see Saquon and Devontae and Dallas and AJ and Jalen Hurts. Is there tape on this defense right now, this depleted Detroit Lions defense, that gives one of the better offenses in the NFC an advantage right now, or an opening, should I say?
I mean, I know you want me to just say
no,
yes.
I'm not saying yes.
I guess.
I want you to tell me, I know you're not scared. You're stoked.
It's not about scared. It's just, I mean, there's tape on every team this time of the season. You're in week 17.
Do you think it's more tape or injury, though? Because you said it yourself, we've given up a lot more points over the last 4 games that we had over the first 3 months.
Yep, and that clearly is to injury. So
there
you go.
That's it?
Oh, I mean, it has to contribute, but it's not like these guys are folding. They're just making different plays.
Well, I love you for that, because the different plays, we saw a couple trick plays today. We obviously saw the hook and lateral. There was a fake pitch play that was really exaggerated that I think turned into a touchdown or a big gain. They did go crazy. They didn't do what we saw in Dallas, but you're right. This offense, no matter whether the defense is having a great day or a subpar day, this offense seems to be able to bail this team out any given week.
The pressure's on the offense every week now. That's the name of the game. You got to outscore them. It's no longer we got to stop you. It's we hope to get 1 to 2 stops a game. We hope to get some momentum-changing plays. But our offense has to carry the burden. And that's it. And I'm comfortable with it because it's the best offense in the league. Comfortable with it because Ben Johnson is a fucking madman with how many trick plays, and not only how many he has, how many they execute well. Because you see other teams trying to do these things, fumble in the hook and lateral, just not the precision that you need to have it. And so, yeah, I guess on defense it's on tape. Everybody knows what you're going to do, but to this point, you're 13-2. Who gives a shit if people know what you're gonna? Or 14-2. Who gives a shit if they know what you're gonna do? I'm gonna give you my playbook. You still got to show up and beat the Lions.
True that. Remember Fonzie from Waterboy?
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's the playbook that Ben Johnson has.
I saw that. I saw that like little meme that. They
made.
No,
I actually thought of that on my own. I was just watching a Billy Madison the other day.
Oh no, they put Dan Campbell on his face and like,
really?
This is what's gonna happen with Ben Johnson. Like, and that's what I like. Ben Johnson's very intelligent, but you guys got to remember he was a tight ends coach 3 years ago. Dan Campbell's the one who elevated him. He's running Dan Campbell's playbook. That's what, like, he's getting creative with it, but the base and the soul of this, don't forget, Dan Campbell came from the Sean Payton coaching tree. Sean Payton, pretty fucking aggressive, pretty talented, creative coach. So it's not like Dan Campbell just couldn't figure it out till Ben Johnson came along. Ben Johnson is a product of Dan Campbell, not the other way around.
And the pieces that he gets to play with.
Yeah. Oh, God. I mean, it's just an obscene wealth. We were talking about that. J-Mo, best number 2 wide receiver in the league?
He's in that top 5. I mean, you got to talk about T. Higgins.
That's who was mentioned.
Yeah. There's not a lot of guys that you could put on another team.
Addison is another one who was mentioned.
Instantly the X.
Addison was mentioned.
Well, and nobody would have mentioned him until about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, you go around the league for number 2 wide receivers.
How many number 2s are hitting 1,000 yards?
Number 2, Not
a whole lot.
Devontae Smith is probably one guy. Chris Godwin, if you want to consider him the number 2 to Mike Evans, I think is another good one you can consider. Waddle, yeah, but Tyreek Hill's falling off a fucking cliff.
Well,
so
I think it's a little more about their quarterback.
Yeah, but he's no longer the number 1 he was. You know what I mean?
No. And realistically, if we're comparing J-Mo to this gaggle of wide receivers that literally could go to pretty much any other team and step in and be the X receiver, the number 1 on that team. We've talked about it a lot of times. Last year, people thought it was Cap because his hands were questionable. This year, we've watched him not just take jet sweeps and bombs down the field. This guy's running routes. Beyond the blocking that we've seen out of him early on in his career, we are seeing this guy make big plays on third down. We're watching him make big plays in the red zone. We're watching this guy grow and evolve as a route tree guy. And his hands can no longer be questioned.
And he's starting to become more of a public personality. You know, he wouldn't go on the Amon-Ra St. Brown Brothers podcast all season. They finally got him on there. You just saw him on the Sports Center interview. He's really starting to come out of his shell a little bit, and a comfortable J-Mo is a dangerous J-Mo.
Well, I prefer a invited J-Mo than a indicted J-Mo. You know what I'm saying? Like where they're I don't mean indicted. Well, I'm saying, listen, no, I don't mean it like that. I'm saying a lot of times the only reason that they were really talking about him wasn't his play on the field. It was for some garbage. And now they're actually giving him interviews, not to answer questions about gambling or an injury, but to ask him about his impact on a win.
That was a little out of bounds. I ain't going to lie to you. It's a little out of bounds.
I didn't mean indictments like that, but he's being indicted for his I guess, controversial conduct off the field. He's only being indicted for his play on the field now.
I get what you mean, but
he always gets so bad.
No, but
I mean, like,
where your angel
bring up
puffs at?
bullshit?
Why do you think they keep sticking with the kid, man? Like, if he was really a problem, and I know you not coming there. I know you.
No, I'm saying that now his voice is being heard through his play on the field instead of his conduct off the field.
I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
You don't need to bring up bullshit.
But I mean,
let's just talk about.
We just talking about some penalties.
Man, y'all so
some
defensive
game
of this
penalties.
kid.
You're right.
I am tipping my hat to him.
Yeah, we need to protect him a little bit.
Protect J-Mo at all costs.
The narrative is not a problem. The narrative is he was the best wide receiver on the floor today. Period.
Yeah.
That's the narrative.
I mean, Amon-Ra had a great game.
No, the number one.
Sure.
You look at the numbers.
It's J-Mo.
J-Mo was the number 1.
Yes, sir. Called that. I wish he had got the 100. But.
Yeah, I know you were close on your call.
Sam.
Flannel getting that jersey.
Another guy that is kind of a lightning rod of conversation, Terrion Arnold. You see a lot of people hating on him, a lot of people saying he's always getting cooked, he's getting burnt. There was a play today where he got picked, and it looked bad.
He ran into his own guy.
It looked bad, but he got picked on his own guy.
This is his fourth year, right?
But if you watch him play, he was manned up on Deebo Samuel all game long. He was shadowing Deebo when he was going in motion. He was and did Deebo have a big game today?
What's his 5th year?
Did Deebo have a big game today?
He had a little jet sweep touchdown. That's about all I remember.
Yeah.
So what is this? What is this? I mean,
it's his rookie year. Anson.
Oh, it is. Can we remember that? Remember Patrick Peterson and all the flack that guy took, and how he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Terrion has been on an island by himself. Not the one they don't throw at, but the only one they threw at, because the majority of the season he had Carlton Davis, which was a situation no quarterback was really willing to throw at. Are you going to challenge Kirby Joseph? Are you going to challenge Brian Branch? This kid has been forged through fire this year. Has he made mistakes? Sure. But what this kid's gone through, I can't wait for the future of Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, and he fits the system. Like, say what you want. It's a man system. And you're throwing this kid who literally was in college last year up against the Justin Jeffersons of the world, up against the Mike Evans of the world.
Context, man.
Like, he's taking on every team's number one. And, yeah, he's going to let up some big plays. He has. But he's also made some big plays, too. So I think all things considered, been pretty damn solid. If we're talking about, you want to compare him to like a Jeff Okudah, who was a number 3 overall pick and was supposed to be our future corner, Terrion Arnold all day over Okudah.
Hey, Lions
not
fans.
even close. Bro.
Not even close.
But Lions fans, guess who your number 1 corner through the playoffs is going to be? So send them your prayers, manifest some positivity, support our boy Terrion Arnold, because the fire and flames that he went through this year, the controversy, the penalties, the mild injuries, this kid is our number 1, for better or for worse, through the rest of this season. And we are going to be riding his play against every single team's number 1, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to say, yes, this kid makes mistakes, but damn if that wasn't a great first-round pick.
Yep. Let's see.
I'm trying to think of people picked around his position. Like, I would much rather have him.
Kenyon? You want Kenyon right now?
Yeah.
He had been tested.
Yeah.
You want the Cooper DeJean?
Yeah.
He can
Chop
make tackles.
Robinson. We haven't heard much of Chop Robinson.
Man.
I was a big Chop guy.
Terrion is on display, being challenged each and every week, even when he was the number 2 or number 3. But this kid has stepped from 3 to 2 to undisputed 1.
Yeah.
Obviously through injury, but my man's representing.
And listen, he can't make all the plays, y'all. As much as we would like him to make every single damn play on the field, occasionally it's going to happen. It's the NFL. You're going against people better than you. Like you said, Deebo Samuel, that's no easy task to guard for 48 minutes. And he went out there
tracking him all game.
No, absolutely, man. And that's my biggest thing with Terrion, is that most plays he is there. He's not really getting cooked. Yes, he gives up a play every now and again, but over a totality of 17 games, I think the kid's doing pretty damn good being thrusted into the spot that he's in.
Well, and let's be honest, the defense is not the best. Like, so you're putting up numbers.
Yeah.
And Chase was asking me too, or he wasn't asking me. He was pointing out that Brian Branch is kind of not fallen off, but he started out the season, oh my God, this guy's a world beater. And now it's Brian Branch makes a few mistakes here and there, and I told him it's because the linebackers are out. Like,
right.
It's really tough for those safeties to play at the level they want to play at when the linebackers aren't covering the way they need to in front of you.
No, absolutely.
Kirby is more of a free range guy back there. He's doing whatever the hell he wants to do. But for Brian Branch to be the Brian Branch we need him to be, the system in front of him needs to be working and clicking. And as we know, your number 1 cornerback's down. Like, your number 1 through 7 linebackers are out.
6 of our starting 11 week 1 defensive guys are out.
Yeah, 40% of the Lions starting team is out, period.
6 of 11.
No, I'm saying 40% of the starting team. The number 1.
Entire group.
Yeah, 40%.
Yeah.
There's teams in the league that are down to like 4% and 5%, or 40%.
Also, I wouldn't say that Branch fell off. I mean, I believe he had 10 tackles last week and led all our defense in tackles. So, I mean, he's consistently up there. I get that, you know, he has some bad plays here and there, but by no means is Brian Branch falling off. And I know you don't mean literal fall off, but I see some of the pushback in the chat. But y'all, I mean, he's asked to do so much on defense. He is literally the leader of your defense right now.
But he's not making the big impact that he was through the first 6
True,
games
but they're playing them all over the field.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
listen, I'm not knocking Brian Branch.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm just saying that's part of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But when you play him in so many positions, I'm just saying it's easy to get caught in the wash, but he's still consistently, like, at the top of the stat sheet in terms of his defense. So, like, just shout out to the job that he does, man. He goes out there and lays it on the line every single week.
And shout out to Nick S. in the chat, gifting people with memberships to Woodward Sports on YouTube.
That's awesome.
And if you want your chat mentioned, make sure you hit us with a super chat. We will get to them. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitter right now and watching on YouTube. We appreciate you being a part of the post-game show here. They're taking down some of the tables. You sound like Buffalo Bills fans over there breaking tables.
Dudley boy.
You know, listen, I got to stop for a second and talk about how great this setting was tonight.
Before you get to that, let's do that. But I want to get to these super chats. Steve Robertson, our man from AZ, Super Bowl, here we come. Vikings who? Darnold sucks a duck.
Yeah.
And then, of course, TJ Torrey with the $10. 95 Lions versus San Francisco on Monday Night Football. Grounded from TV because bad grades, but Mom let me watch the game. Wanted them to lose because I hadn't developed a tolerance for disappointment. I'm glad they won today. Today equals revenge.
Goddamn right.
And you know what? That does bring up, like, I remember, was that at the Silverdome at Monday Night Football, and was it like 89 or something? I don't know. I was at that game as a kid, and I remember watching, of course, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice absolutely eat our lunch. Idris, gift them memberships right now on YouTube as well. Hold on. I want to get to what Anson was saying. Go ahead.
Where were we?
Okay, never mind. Anson doesn't remember
what I was going to say is quick. AH was right, bro. Hang it up, dog. Like, get out the basement, man, and culture yourself a little bit.
Who's AH?
Yeah, AH was right, and you could tell by the name, you know, the type of shit he be on probably. But
what'd he say?
Yeah, Jameson will get arrested. Mark my words. He's immature, falls over all over the place, immature.
Hey, I've been really hard on J-Mo.
Yeah, no, you ain't.
We've watched him grow into slighter and slighter offenses. Listen, before the guy was making
hang it up.
He was making.
We've watched him grow into less and less offenses.
Yeah, because, well, listen, we're watching.
Tripping, dog.
No. Listen, we're watching.
He went from armed robbery to now it's only misdemeanors. He's good.
You said armed robbery. All right, I'm talking about going from missing the details. Man, stop. You guys are both ridiculous.
Brandon Cass level right now.
No, listen.
Just if terms of J-Mo.
This is the best way to say it about J-Mo, and I said it.
No, we were talking about gambling problems and a gun. Now we're talking about flipping a ball into a guy's face.
All I want from J-Mo is for him to read the fine print. That's all I want from J-Mo.
You are way too sensitive about J-Mo and about Reese and LeBron.
I just want the story
Get the hell over it.
Nah,
Get the hell over it.
But come on, man. Anson, that's a funny
sports
sentiment.
Arguments.
It's a funny sentiment to say he's gone from, like, horrible offenses to better offenses.
Well, because
come on.
It's just the wording. That's all. It's how you word it.
He went from smashing
We love you,
chicks
Anson.
to
Come on.
Yeah, but you shaking your head like I called him a criminal.
We not just defending J-Mo at every
this guy
turn.
was getting thrown under by like 60% of the fan base because he made mistakes with a gun in the car, with gambling. Now when you see a guy flip a ball into a dude's face after he got tripped, and you might take a day to see that clarity.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nobody really mad at this kid anymore.
No,
especially after he came out and showed out the way he did. And I'll tell you what.
151 the super chat. Can we stop with the J-Mo hate?
No, I was trying to go to the love for Hayes Social. And Dante, you get it to wait. Because we've read your stuff all day. We love your support.
Shout out
We're going to
Dante.
get to it. But listen, nowhere was it better to watch on these massive screens.
Shout out.
The growth of J-Mo today. Because you called J-Mo. You said that this guy was going to hit 1,000 yards today, and I was pulling for him.
So
because,
close.
Because, like, hey, I'm not on the Flannel Sam tip where it says this guy's just a bust. Through 2 years, he wasn't on the field enough to pay off what we paid for him at that point. This guy right now, listen, you guys can laugh all you want.
I'm laughing at the chat. I'm not laughing at
But
it.
you guys are the ones.
You off the hook now. You off the hook,
The
Anson.
chat
I
has been
promise.
dying right now. Just a fan. Anson. For a black kid, J-Mo's all right with me.
That's about the whitest boy I ever heard say that
Totally
stupid
soft racism by Anson.
No,
but oh well.
shit. Spoken by two white suburban boys.
Is Anson
I
related
promise you
to
that.
flannel?
Oh shit! No, man, y'all. Anson means well, y'all gotta chill, man. This is why we here though. This is what good friends are for.
That's both of y'all fault
This
because
is
you wouldn't
good
listen to
friends.
what I was damn trying to say.
No, but now that you explained it, it makes more sense. It's just, like I said, just how it came off. That's all.
Because you want to pounce on words.
No, I
I'm the only
promise.
fucking white guy on my block. All right, I live
All right,
south
we
of
don't
8 Mile.
I had black
We
friends.
don't need to go into that. We don't need to go into that.
Barbecue.
No, dude, I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. White suburban boys in the fucking chat taking shots at some stupid ass shit.
I listen to Erica Badu.
Oh man.
On and on and on and on. Oh my God, we love you, Anson.
Yeah,
I
you don't have
promise.
to justify it to me or KG. We know this, man. It's just funny.
Oh man,
Like,
what a day.
the context
What a
of
day.
hey, his offenses are getting less and less is a funny concept, man.
Yeah.
It's a fucking true concept.
But it's funny.
Well, think about his offenses. They've gone from suspensions down to 15 yards.
In the chat, I love y'all, bro.
I have a lot of black
Man,
friends.
KG, I love you, but you stupid as hell sometimes, man.
Hey, come on. It's not him. It's the chat.
Yeah, it was
the
him
chat.
pouncing on
No,
that shit. It was.
I
It was
wasn't trying
absolutely
to.
you.
No, but I wasn't trying to
Nah,
necessarily.
as long as you recognize it.
I wasn't trying to come at you though.
But you did.
Nah, I'm
But
sorry.
you did.
Anson. I
Like, you
apologize.
guys
I
couldn't
heard
let
it
me
the
get
same
through
way.
it.
I heard it the
Yeah,
same
man.
way,
Oh,
man.
y'all are so
Serious.
ready to pounce on that shit.
Oh,
You guys are so defensive. And
No,
this is
but-
why I said at the beginning of the broadcast,
Oh,
this was
shit.
supposed to be a unifying win. This brought together both sides of the coin. The guys that were the naysayers, that were the doomsday prophesiers, that's saying the Lions are going to go out here and sit half their guys are going to lose, and their momentum is going to be gone for the Minnesota Vikings game, and then we're going to lose and be the number 5 seed. And then there's people over here, while you, KG, you and me on the same point with this guy.
No, absolutely.
He's like, sit the guys. This game don't matter. The culture and the tempo and the anger revenge of this team that is ready to bury 75 years of futility and losing is what we saw on display here. So if you're on the one side and you are the new money, or you're on the old side that was there when we went 0-16, going to the damn Silverdome,
Yes, sir.
dealing with this shit, like this was the game that should bring everybody together. Just like I fought with you over the Bills' loss, saying this is what needed to wake some of the people up that were acting like they'd never been here before, and the people that were the never die fans like you. Today, this win on the road, someone we haven't won for 4 decades, against a team that ended our season last year when people said we should mail it the fuck in and wait for next week. If you aren't believers today, if you want to take shots at me for my semantics, fuck you. Get the fuck on the fucking bagwagon and get the fuck off.
Mic drop.
Y'all pissed me off with that shit, man.
so-
Question my fucking racial
No,
allegiance, man.
man.
That shit
This-
pissed
I
me off,
promise
bro.
this
Y'all
shit-
already know.
Anson, this is good fun, man. We love you, man.
That's one thing that you question on me, I'm going to have a problem with.
There you go. People are asking me to give you a hug.
Yeah, right.
Yes, man. You
This
question
is
me on my
this is
fucking
a
Detroit
happy
lifestyle.
time,
Who the fuck
man.
I
You're,
love,
you're
man.
the
You
one.
have problems with
Hey,
me.
come on.
I'm
Don't-
not mad
enough.
at you right now,
Enough.
or
All right,
him.
But let's move
We
on.
ain't
Don't
gotta
let
do
the
all
chat
that.
get
Ugh.
you into somebody you're not. Like, come on.
No, that was you two. I'll be honest.
Okay,
that was you two.
all right,
It was
let's
just funny,
let's
man.
move
That's
on.
it.
You're the
But
one who
yeah.
was supposed to be excited about this win.
I am.
Yeah.
Then
Oh,
be
still
excited
am.
about the
Also,
win.
Chris Foster in the chat, hang it up, man.
Whatever.
The Bears is done. Hang it up, dog.
They
I love the
still
Bears
talk about
fans
the
still coming in
catfish,
here.
man.
Yeah, man. He over here. Detroit is known for certain things. Come on, dog.
Yeah, listen, that's why you're
Oh,
here.
man.
You're talking to us. So let's Let's see here. We talked about this game. Anything else that we need to discuss from this San Francisco's 49ers game? Like, I get you're excited about it. I'm still in the camp that
J-Mo.
I don't care about it.
J-Mo was our number one receiver today. And I know that I said the indictments are less, or whatever the semantics y'all jumped on, but this kid showed us why we moved up to pick him at number 12.
No, boy,
the
he's
same
fast.
way that Jahmyr
That
Gibbs,
boy's fast.
right? Slippery as hell, both of them. Jahmyr Gibbs and J-Mo, both these cats that came up.
I think I hate you, bro. You funny. No, I'm sorry, it's Stick this time, dog. Oh, Stick, I hate you, dog.
What did I say?
No.
What did I say?
Oh,
We're just having fun here at Hayes Social for the Lions post-game show.
Great day.
The Lions are sitting with 14 wins right
tonight.
now. 14 wins. Absolutely insane that they reached that mark. Big game coming up next Sunday. Let's move ahead. I don't think there's really much more to touch on this
I got
game.
one question for both of you guys.
What?
Yep.
And we'll ask Justin over there as well. KG, when did you first become a Lions fan?
Remember? A long time ago, probably 99, 98.
Like how old were you? Like 13, 9?
No, before that.
Like how old were
My
you?
dad was a Lions fan. I was raised watching Lions football.
And I know how long you've been. My question is this. I always believed I'd see a Super Bowl here in my lifetime, even though my grandfather told me I was crazy and stupid.
My pappy did, too.
But did you ever think it would be this special a team? I thought it was going to be like a Trent Dilfer-led Baltimore team, got in at 10-6, got on a run. We don't know how it happened, but we got it. This team is like, I mean, they're as cool of a team as I've seen since the Rams.
No, for real. Like, this is something different. Like, I've never dreamed of a Lions season like this. And we used to just hope for regular seasons like this. But now knowing that they are the front runners for the Super Bowl in terms of the NFC, it's absolutely amazing, man. And games like tonight, man, it just gives you so much momentum going forward, man, into next week and into the playoffs, man. It's 4 games left. Do we realize that?
Yeah.
All we got to do is 4 more games of this, and the mission is accomplished.
The season's over February 9th,
Start to let it set in, y'all.
It's crazy. That's 6
We are
weeks away,
4 games
5
out.
weeks
The
away.
countdown starts now. It does. It's amazing.
This isn't the team that you imagine winning the Super Bowl for the Lions. Did you expect them to be this sexy?
I gotta be honest. I never even really thought that deep into how it would happen. I just thought of it happening. I never really thought, what would the team look like?
Right.
How would we win? Are we going to be
man,
defensive leaning? Are we going to have a stud quarterback? Is it going to be the wide receivers? I honestly, I think deeply into most things, overthink most things, but I never really went down that route because really just getting to a playoff team was an accomplishment. A 500 team was an accomplishment, and I never gave a shit on how it happened.
I thought it was going to work 04 Pistons
I always
style.
wanted to be
no
like the
superstars, a whole bunch of just team players, a culture that came together for 1 year. But, I mean, listen, we might have in 12 years 6 Hall of Famers coming from this team.
Wow.
Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, St. Brown, Laporta, Gibbs, obviously Hutch.
Yeah.
That's 6 right there.
Wow.
Now, we're not even talking about Kirby and what he could do. We're not talking about anybody else that's only been on this team for 2, 1, 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, this team has guys that, like, remind you of the old Cowgirls, the old with Ronnie Lott and John Taylor and Jerry Rice and Tom Rathman and Roger Craig, Joe Montana, you know, your boy Merton Hanks. I know he's not a Hall of Famer, but, I mean, it was made up of superstars. And this Lions team is just so different from everybody else we ever. Listen, the 84 World Series Tigers, name a superstar.
You can't.
Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker, neither one of them in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, the only team that we've ever had here was a non-salary cap team that we brought every Hall of Famer from all over the NHL.
Red Wings, yeah.
That's it. This Lions team, they are all about that black and blue mentality, that blue-collar work ethic, that never-ending just complete belief in culture. But at the same time, They're the sexiest team I think that we've ever had, and we made them ourselves.
Not even.
I mean, if you win, you're sexy. So yeah.
Well, of course.
They're the
True,
sexiest
but
team we
they
ever
doing
had.
it at a rate like imagine if we we'd have had Red Wings teams like this, but imagine if we had a Pistons team that was just dominating.
You
the
did.
East.
Well,
Well,
listen,
yeah,
the
true.
2004 Pistons dominated.
But imagine a 70-win Pistons.
The 2005
team.
Pistons were a 70-win Pistons team.
No,
I
you're
can
right, you're
compare
right.
this to
Like,
the
we've seen it.
89 Pistons. You got Mahorn and you got Lambier that we traded for 2 diamonds in the rough that nobody saw. We brought him here. We drafted Isaiah.
Yeah.
People thought we should trade him. He was too small. Small point guard couldn't win. We drafted McNeese State, little Joe Dumars. We go in the middle of where was it? Northeast Arkansas State. My man Dennis the Worm Rodman. Go to Georgia Tech. Get yourself some Spider Sally. And then you go around and you pick some other people. Again, though, how many guys actually off that team were Hall of Famers? This team wasn't traded for and crafted and brought together the way that Rasheed was or all these other guys was. This is all the work of Brad Holmes.
Absolutely.
Assisted by Dan Campbell, guys that were drafted, homegrown, developed, believed in,
wallet's in the
and
coat.
never given the hell up on. Like, this team is so different from anything else that we've ever seen in Detroit. The only thing I can compare it to is the Bad Boys.
No, for real.
We got to shout out Randall Smalls with the super chat, trying
Shout
to get in
out.
there. I used to worry about how we were going to lose. Now I'm relaxed knowing we're going
I
to
swear.
find a way to win. And, yeah, that's the major difference between everything.
This is why SOL is dead. It's the reverse SOL.
It still feels weird.
It
To be
does.
sitting in this position. It really does.
I'm going to wait a month to say that.
Because now it's just being, like, overly validated at this point. Like, last year was like, they can actually do it. This year is like business as usual. Like, this is turning into business as usual.
Yeah.
And we need to be prepared for that. We are that franchise now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy to be looked at the way the Lions are looked at right now around the NFL. And even with all the injuries and all that, people have come, people will go, people come back, though, because in the end, when you keep winning, you can't go away from what you're seeing. You can make up all the scenarios in your mind about how the injuries should be to shutting this team down, but they aren't. So until they do, stop panicking about it. Quit worrying about it, because nobody in that locker room's worrying about it. I can tell you that much.
Look, bro, when you know you made it when they give you a shot at the press box during the game and everybody in there look like a mafioso. Like Brad Holmes, Chris Spielman. Did you see that shot, bro? Like, oh, my God. They just look like a team of hired assassins, bro. Like, they are ready for this. They are ready for anything that comes their way. They have prepared this team. They have, like you said, they systematically built this thing up to look how they wanted it to look. And 3 years later, we are staring at one of the all-time maybe teams of the NFL regular season and hopefully of the postseason as well. So.
Could we be looking at one of the largest differentials in points from any team ever?
Yeah, I mean, they're plus
Close,
two.
right?
They're plus 200. Yeah. They're the most in the NFL this year. I know that for a fact. I don't know what the rate is all time, but it's got to be damn near.
Yes.
I think we looked it up earlier in the season. Remember how ridiculous it was, Peyton Manning's Broncos?
Oh, yeah, that first year?
That
was crazy.
Like, they were winning by an average. I think when the Lions were winning by an average of 32, like, they were winning by an average of 39.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane when I was looking up those stats. Like, imagine how good the Lions look. Now they were adding another touchdown onto that. Freddie Felt, 313,
Shout
with
out,
the super
was just
chat.
here.
He came
Says,
out
thanks
tonight.
for the hospitality tonight, Stick. You are more than welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sitting in on the broadcast for a little bit. And that's what it's all about, man. Like,
we encourage y'all to get out here,
you
man.
can come
this
from
is a
the
great
chat.
time.
Yeah, if you're one of those kids that is in the chat and you're in your mom's basement that we make fun of, you're more than welcome to come out here and experience real people, too.
Right.
You can hang out with Anson.
Learn your social skills.
Yeah, black people invited.
You know, Anson, he gonna be mad about this. He finna cuss us out after the show.
He's only going to cuss you out,
man.
KG. For some reason, he's going to leave me alone.
Right. It's all good. It's all good. It's all love.
You got to
man.
have fun with yourself.
Come on,
I
man.
know you have your Detroit
We all Jake
card.
Bates right now,
I
man.
know you have your Detroit card.
We all Jake Bates on the couch right now,
Oh,
man.
can you play?
Oh,
sexy?
I got it
Is
right
Jake-
here, man.
I mean, that always.
This is great. Hold on. I got the zoom in.
Yeah, that's always going to
Oh.
change the mood.
Oh. Bow, chicken, wow.
You got to specify Hayes, not Hayes Social. All right. I don't know what that means, Wheezy D313. Wheezy D313, though, I wanted you specifically. I'm glad you commented. Oh, there he is.
Shout out Wheezy,
there's sexy Jake Bates. My goodness.
Yeah, that is.
Wait.
What a man.
Wait. They put that on the couch, right? That he was the one the couch on the side.
No, we put him on the couch.
This is George Costanza right there.
Stick, before the game when you were not carrying.
That's the muff couch right there.
Hold on. Stick, before the game when you were not carrying, I was getting mad at you and realized that a motherfucker is like me. He knows we're going to take care of business. Yeah, and thank you, Rando Smalls, because I got accused of being scared this afternoon. And
it was unstick-like. I'll say that. I wasn't expecting
because I wasn't gung-ho, right?
No, yeah,
and that's it. Because
I'm so used to you being that way.
Because you told him to take the night off. In more or less words,
a lot of people did.
y'all can take it off
They
tonight.
can. They could have.
I mean, sure,
Could
but
they have, though?
Yes.
This win does them a lot of good.
Bro, this
and
was
listen,
a
they
game
came out unscathed. They came out unscathed, and that's the biggest part. Y'all was so worried about the injuries. They came out unscathed.
The win was good. The win was nice. But I'm telling you, if the team lost, they would have been just as motivated going into next week.
I'm not saying
that's all. AJ Torrey with the $10 super chat. We beat San Francisco in '95. The only game I saw in the Silverdome was the Lions over Green Bay when Barry got like 235 yards. While that was very nice, it's crazy that we have 20-plus weapons now compared to maybe 3 then. That's the deal, so
bro.
true.
That's the deal.
Back then, you had a solid offensive line. You had Glover. You had those guys. And you had Barry Sanders. Obviously, Herman Moore was a part of that equation. But outside of that, Brett Perriman wasn't J-Mo.
Who was our tight end?
Back then? Who was our tight end?
Nobody. Who was our second running back?
Tight end really wasn't a glamorous position.
Who was our quarterback?
Yeah,
nobody. Who was our corner that you remember? Who was our linebacker that you remember?
Well, Spielman.
Oh, Spielman wasn't. I guess he was with that team.
Jerry Ball was your defensive lineman.
Nice. Benny Blades
in the
Benny Blades was
backfield.
way before that, bro. Benny Blades came in.
He was in '91.
He came in '88. You're right. He was rookie in '88.
He was there.
Love me some Benny Blades. Shout out my man.
You had Spindler on the offensive line. I mean, you had some weapons, but it wasn't like this. This is just obscene. Honestly, what the Lions have on the offensive side of the ball is absolutely obscene.
How many future Hall of Famers are on this team right now?
It's a good question.
Real question.
Panay Sewell locked in.
100.
If Jared Goff gets a ring, locked in. Amon-Ra St. Brown locked in.
3.
Gibbs on his way.
Gibbs looks
assume
the part.
Yeah.
He looks the part.
So far, so good. There's 4.
Laporta could potentially go in
There's 5.
just on the strength of his rookie
that's
year.
Just the offense.
I'm offer.
That's just the offense.
On defense, I'm offer a sleeper, bro.
Ragnow is another one on offense which could go in.
I think that Jack Campbell could be that.
Okay.
I think he can turn into that.
So Campbell, Branch, Kirby.
Kirby's looking like he may have a shot at it.
What about that guy Hutchinson?
Yeah, obviously Hutch.
Clearly Hutch.
If he can stay healthy, Hutch.
So we're talking 9 guys before we get any deeper.
9 Hall of Famers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And that's not a stretch. Now, one name you guys threw out here. 5 on the offensive side. 4 on the defensive side. None of those are stretches right now. At all.
Yeah.
Kirby's young.
Yeah.
Brian Branch is young as hell. Hutchinson hurt, but he's young as hell, ready to be a defensive player of the year this year. And then you look at these offensive guys, as long as they keep health. Panay, Jared Goff on his way. J-Mo? Is that number 6?
We need another season like the one he's having.
He's got the skill set to do it. Does he get the opportunity, and is it in front of him? And, it all depends on how much these guys win. I mean, if they go get a Super Bowl this year, everybody's on the radar.
What does Flannel have to wear if he gets into the Hall of Fame? It might be 20 years from now, but what is he wearing?
I don't even know.
A flannel suit jacket?
Right. It's got to have J-Mo on the back, though.
Yeah. God, flannel.
Or he has to visit Cooperstown and take a picture with the
I'm so glad I don't have to stand.
Cooperstown, bro. It's great.
I'm so glad I don't have to stand on bad takes. I don't put myself out there to put myself in these situations. Like, J-Mo's gonna be a bust. Like, how could anybody's eyes see that? But as much as I love flannel, Hall of Fame, Jack Fox, Caleb Brewer.
Yeah,
that's
don't sleep on Jack Fox and Jake Bates.
Sexy Bates.
He's early.
Jake Bates
make the Hall of Fame sexy.
Sexy
and
Bates.
in our fantasy,
I gotta get that on a T-shirt.
In our fantasy rookie draft, J-Mo's rookie year, he's sitting there at 6, and I'm whispering to guys. I'm like, listen, he been so on this guy.
Yeah,
you can't pass on him.
Love J-Mo.
If he passes on him, his mouth ain't where his money is. Or
Right.
his money ain't where his mouth is. And sure enough, he took him.
Yeah.
And you've been patient.
Yep.
And he was real good for you this year. Man, I mean, this kid could end up with 1,100 yards after weeks 18.
Yeah,
week 17.
listen, not only is he real good now, he was real fucking good in college. When you watch that national championship game before he got hurt, he was heads
He
and
almost
tails.
single-handedly won that.
He was the best player on the field by
Yeah.
far, and that had how many pros in it?
And not
he
just
was
on
the
streaks.
best player. Yeah, he was coming over the mill. I mean, he was heads
Running
and
routes.
tails.
Just
Man,
imagine if
big
he
plays.
came in and was able to hit the ground running. If
Yeah,
he wasn't injured,
without the
like we might be talking about
we
him
wouldn't
as
have
a
gotten him,
potential
though.
Hall of Fame.
We wouldn't
I'd
have
be on
gotten him at 12.
Well, that
That's
is
the
true.
thing.
He would have been the first
the
receiver off the
injury,
board.
The injury was a blessing and a curse.
Yeah,
right?
it was. Yep.
That's the only way we
That's
could
a
move
good
up
point.
to steal him at 12 was because he was considered damaged goods.
That's a fact. Yeah, he would first receiver off the board.
And if there wasn't a Bijan, where would Jahmyr Gibbs have gone in that draft?
Ooh,
number one.
yeah.
If you go back on WoodwardSports.com, you can read an article by one stick who told you, look out. Jahmyr Gibbs. could
Nobody
be better
thought he
than-
was gonna get
We
picked
did
that
not
high,
argue
though.
on that one.
Like
What?
nobody thought he was gonna get picked that
What?
high.
What's
though.
that?
Nobody thought he would get picked that high.
Oh, you weren't here then.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
wasn't with
you,
us that yet, was
you,
he?
but
Oh man, we got video.
Not
of that.
everybody can be a
Video
prophet.
proof,
I know.
baby.
It's wild, though, KG, isn't it? It's crazy. Like,
We were
I'm
the
the
only
only
two.
I shocked myself.
We were the
you
only
called
two
Michael
on
Penix
that.
too. You called Michael Penix too. I got to give you credit
because
I
I
seen
just-
you in action.
I believe what I see with my eyes, but you also see the heat I take for it at first, right?
Yeah.
Like the Penix shit when I said, I
Yeah.
take Penix over Caleb Williams. Oh, my God, you don't even watch football. It's
Oh,
like,
that shit was crazy.
It's like,
Oh,
no,
actually,
but-
he was watching.
But
That was crazy.
What I have watched is a guy go to Indiana, elevate that program to make it relevant when they were nothing. Then I watched him go to Washington, take them to a national championship game when they really weren't much before him. And to me, like, I learned my lesson with Dwayne Wade back in the day.
Yeah.
When you have a guy that takes a school like Marquette and makes them relevant,
That's a fact.
that guy's revolutionary.
man.
He's revolutionary. And when you have a guy that can make Indiana and then go to a different school and still be a top
On
tier
a
guy,
different coast.
what else do you need? To me, it's like, it's almost like, what else could that guy have done to show you he's a good? Like Bo Nix. The people didn't think Bo Nix because he played at two different colleges, but he played elite at both colleges. It's just like Jalen Hurts had to go do it too.
That
The
youngest-
guys who go do it at multiple places and are successful multiple places, clearly they're good. Like that, and I'm always going to use that logic, and that's why I always stand on Jared Goff. Like people who wanted to hate on, he took a team to a Super Bowl. Was it the offensive show on turf like we have here? Hell no. Todd Gurley was a major part of that offense, but you know what? That was the offense he was tasked to run. He did it at an elite level. Got him to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now he comes to Detroit, gets them to an NFC championship. At some point, even the Goff haters have to be like, wow, everywhere this guy goes, the team improves.
Yeah.
And if
And
we
he-
can't agree on that, I don't know what we can agree on.
And he's improved at every turn. I mean, he's literally gotten better. We got to start giving him credit for elevating his game. Like, he's going to go in as a Lion if they complete this. Like, let's make no mistake about it. Like, he has come to the Lions and absolutely become a different quarterback. And it's been amazing to see, man. He's taking it up
Not
a
a
notch.
different quarterback.
No, but to be fair, he was good with the Rams, but this Jared Goff, this is the best Jared Goff we've ever seen in his career. Like, he's in his prime right now.
And it comes down to succeeding as a human being in your window of opportunity.
Absolutely.
You don't know when
Absolutely.
it's going to come. It might be college. It might be your 30s. It might be your 70s. But you seize it
Yep.
when that door opens. And there's so many people that have been in situations that were close and they didn't have the moxie, the heart, the mindset to make it happen. This was a guy that was discarded.
Like trash.
Like trash,
In the
not
middle of
only
the
from
night.
L.A., but nationally. This was a guy, this was an afterthought in this trade.
Yeah.
This trade was about a first and a third and a first and a third.
Which is so crazy because if you looked at it on paper, and I just wrote down on a piece of paper, 26 years old, number 1 overall pick. took
Right.
his team
I
to a
remember,
Super
brother.
Bowl. Could you imagine if I wrote that on a paper and slid that? Like, you would have been like, for the Lions?
Right.
Like, oh, we're getting this guy?
Right.
Fuck
Number
yeah,
one
let's
pick?
do it.
And people act like he was Tim Couch or somebody. Like, he was
Yeah.
putting up good numbers. I understand.
When he outdueled
Yeah.
Mahomes,
Yeah, like-
that game was a classic. Steve Robertson with the super chat, 1999. Anson said brand new Lions, and I can't even get through to congratulate him. Yeah, the phones are not working right now.
Yeah.
Technical glitch, which I hate this shit.
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
got to deal with it sometimes. Crayons for breakfast. Anson,
I do not discriminate, my
white
friend.
meat or dark meat? Neil knows.
I prefer slightly darker than white, but I love it all.
Hugh Jasmine with the super chat. Baked getting us hard on the sideline.
You goddamn right.
I mean, Bates was humping some air. Jake Bates has passed Jason Hansen in the
Nope.
most points scored in a season in the
Oh,
franchise
wow.
history.
No way, really?
No way.
That can't be real.
That can't be real.
Hey, when you're kicking a lot of extra points for a team that scores a hell of a lot of touchdowns,
but
man.
Hansen's the all-time leading
No, he's talking
scorer
about
for the
one
Detroit
season,
Lions.
though.
Yeah,
one
like-
season. Just
Hansen,
one season.
34 points back in 2012 via the Lions.
And what does Jake have this year?
Also, Gibbs is turning into a monster at running back.
Turn
I
it.
don't-
Yeah.
I don't want to get on my soapbox with this, but this was part of my pitch to everybody after the Bills game when Monty went down. Losing Monty is awful. You
Yeah.
never want to lose a David Montgomery on a football team. But more of Jahmyr Gibbs is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to see more of that young man. It's a bad thing at the expense of Monty. You don't want that. I want to make that clear. Monty is valuable. I'm not saying get rid of him.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying if your option is I lose Monty, but I get double Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm okay with that.
Well-
and that's why I wasn't as over the top, throw this team off the fucking cliff because they had 3 injuries coming out of the Bills game.
But how did you feel about Jamar Jefferson and Netflix today? Because they looked really good.
I mean, Jamar Jefferson looked like Gibbs. Everybody thought on that first carry it was Gibbs.
And-
it was like the movie Troy. Did you see that with Brad Pitt?
A long
Yeah.
time
And his
ago,
cousin,
yeah.
his cousin
Right.
runs into
Throwback.
battle wearing his armor.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we thought it was you. That's why he's dead. But that's what I thought when Jamar Jefferson, and you know, I've been a Jamar
Yeah.
Jefferson fan
You drafted him.
since he came out as a rookie. I mean, he pushes the pile forward. He falls
does.
forward, and
Really
that's
does.
what he does.
And he's kind of that hybrid in between
Stick
that
as a Monty hater, huh?
Yeah,
God
come on
damn
now.
it.
Come on
God
now.
damn it.
But he's honestly kind of that, because we've said that Reynolds was the direct backup to Monty, and that
Oh, shit. Hey,
that
okay.
Sione was a direct backup to Jahmyr Gibbs. But what we saw out of Jamar was really kind of a hybrid of those two. What I love seeing today, even though you and I battled today whether they should have sat or played any of the second stringers, anybody that you didn't expect to see on the field today, they still performed.
Yeah, everybody did. Everybody did their job today. They did what they had to do to go to San Francisco and get a win. And was it the most beautiful win? No, but
First
I believe,
one in 40 years.
I believe that's what Dan Campbell said in his press conference. Listen, it's by any means necessary at this point. It's no longer this is how we're going to beat a team. It's going to be this is what played out during the game. This is the route we had to take, and this is how we're going to beat you.
That's 49 years. My math is dumb.
Yeah,
So
a
75
lot of people are hung up on
to
that.
24, but still, that's 49
how many-
damn years.
how many
Not-
times
not
have they
many.
played, though?
Not many. I think there was only about 5 or 6 on their field.
That's where it's like.
But
oh,
still, that's
I
a
get
near
it, but-
half-century bugaboo.
I know, but it's really only 5 losses. So we can play 50 years.
I do
or
think we were like
5
2-9
losses.
in our last 11 in
Yeah.
Detroit. But hey, this team isn't afraid on the road. They're not afraid at home. They're not afraid injured. They're not afraid, period.
Yeah, they're not afraid of anything, and they're a reflection of their coach. And Dan Campbell gets these boys ready, no matter where it is, no matter when it is, no matter who it is. He's going to get them on the field, and I'm really excited for Sunday's game.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Part of me is really excited because you have a huge safety net, right? Like this is
We have no safety net, bro.
yes, you do.
It's a first or a 5. I know you're okay with the 5 seed, but nobody in this city is. If you want to do radio after a loss next week, I'll still be there with you, but it's going to be brutal.
I almost, not that I want it, but I would love to see the pushback if they do lose.
Oh, man.
And
Are
then
you
they
sure
then
about
they,
that?
Yeah, because
it's going to act
because
up.
haven't I said it since the beginning of the season? I don't give a shit about the number 1 seed.
True that.
And I'm going to stay on that.
You have.
And that's why, like, this game is important. Getting the number 1 seed would be fantastic. The bye week is what's more needed than the number 1 seed in my eyes, and obviously that's what comes with it, so you want it.
Yeah.
But
Lions have never had a number 1 seed.
Five
here's the
teams, one
deal.
of five.
If they lose next week, guess what? They play the week after. So it's not life or death, guys. It's just
so you're saying you don't want to not have a week of Lions football. That's what you're saying.
as a bar owner, it would be fantastic to run 4 playoff games
Business
through this
side of
bitch. But
Real
as a
talk.
Lions fan, I want the easiest road necessary, and I want everybody having to come through Ford Field. But with that being said, I also understand that this team, we've seen it, undefeated on the road for the first time. You're telling me they can't go on the road and beat anybody on the schedule?
2 years without losing 2 games in a row. Sleep on that.
Right. It's so crazy. I was really interested in the psychology coming into this game and what Dan Campbell was going to do and how he was going to manage it and how he was going to unite his team and get them fired up for this. And he did a textbook job.
He gave him 80% effort, 88% effort. He held a little bit back, but still made sure he won.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish I was in the locker room pregame to get the message of, hey, guys, I want you guys to get up by 30 points so I can rest you guys because this game doesn't mean shit and we need to stay healthy. Was that the message?
No.
Or was it your message? Yeah, I don't care if you got 3 toes and 1 ass cheek. We're coming for
We're
you.
eating some damn.
And I'm
some
happy
damn
We're
meat.
eating
because-
some damn ass.
I'm happy because it's not going to get any easier. You needed to be in this type of mode. This is the type of mode you needed. The playoffs already started for the Lions. Like, you need to be in this mode right now. So you need to take what you did in this game and apply it to the Vikings, and then let's keep this shit rolling, man. You got to.
The playoffs started week 1 for this Lions team.
Well, that's true,
And
too.
they have brought that mentality each and every week.
Yeah.
That's why we've seen them respond after losses. That's why we've seen them exact revenge against teams that beat them last year. And that's why we see them holding home court going into the biggest regular season game in Lions history.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a fun week at Woodward Sports. We're going to be talking about it all week long, the lead
sir.
up. Like it feels like it's going to be a week pregame show leading up to this.
Man,
like
gonna
that's
be
how
wild.
massive this is going to be. And
this is just the final week of the regular season. We
I
ain't
know,
got to the playoffs.
and that's the thing, and that's why I don't want to keep harping on it. It's such a big game, but it's also not life or death. It's nice.
It would
it's
suck
nice.
after all this work to not get the number 1
It
seed.
totally would. Listen, and
trust me,
everybody-
I've been closer to your side. I feel like the Lions gonna handle business regardless of where they're at in the playoffs because this is pass fail. You either win in the playoffs or you don't.
Right.
That's all people care about. But I would like them to at least have those games at home. That would be nice.
Hey, the great city of Detroit deserves those home
Who's
games.
coming into Detroit and winning?
Yeah, but
Well, two
even
teams did
beyond
this
that,
season.
even beyond that, listen, I love our city. I love our state. What that economically means to us, which we've never really had,
Yep.
because we always on the road. The few times we sniff the playoffs, this is a coup for the whole city, man.
Absolutely.
And the whole city's been supporting for some time now. It's absolutely amazing to be able to manifest this, to watch this come full term. Because, again, man, like we've talked so many times about how, like, so many series were played on the road, especially for this Lions team. But to be able to have at least 2 games at home, including this week, next week, like Detroit can be popping next week, KG.
No, that's a fact, man. That is a fact. I cannot wait. Listen, if y'all going down there, like y'all just as important as the team at this point. The team needs the fans and vice versa, man. Go out there and provide as much noise as possible, getting Sam Darnold's head. Because, like I said on the broadcast, this Vikings team, you got to give them credit, bro. They done made it this far, and they coming in here with a mission to do.
That's right.
So you cannot take them lightly.
Now, where are we at next week as Woodward? Now, next week we're for the game on Sunday. It's been flexed to Sunday night.
Yeah.
We're going to be at second best for the pregame stuff?
I believe so. If it's a primetime game, I believe it works the same way as it did today.
We'll find
so
out
maybe,
from Sam.
Yeah, maybe the heavyweights at the pregame and then us here. I don't know. We'll see.
But I know where we'll be for the watch party as well as the post-game show. We will be right here. Shelby, Hey Social for that.
Shout
hey,
out to everybody
do you
who
know
came
where
out.
the pregame show will be for
Is it the
next
same-
Sunday for the Flex game?
Is it same as
We
today?
want to make sure everybody knows where to
second
watch
best.
this next week.
Second
No,
best.
but is it heavyweights for that?
No,
And
no,
then
no. It's going to be Neil and Sean.
Okay, got it,
they're
got
going to be at second best. They're going to do 10 to noon before the 1 o'clock kickoff. So they're going to get down there because downtown's going to be packed.
I thought
all-
it was
all
Flex
damn
to
big.
the evening game.
It
Yeah, it
is,
is,
but
but-
our pregame show we do from 10 to noon because we don't want to compete with
I got you.
NFL
Okay, that
actual
makes sense.
football.
Yeah.
Putting a pregame show when other
Sure,
NFL
sure.
games are on is a losing battle.
Yeah,
so
no, that's a fact.
So even though the Lions
That's why
got
he makes
flex
the big
till
bucks.
8 o'clock, our pregame show and Woodward and Maine will take place at the same time.
Oh,
And
looks
where
like-
should everybody be Sunday night?
I mean, Sunday night, you should be right here, or if you want to be downtown, be at second best. I'm not going to discriminate against them.
No,
and
it's
there-
gonna be
believe me,
crazy
there's
up here.
enough for everybody to
Yeah.
eat. And
we are all
Will down.
converging.
I feel
on
like
this place.
Yeah,
all of Metro Detroit is going to be out next Sunday night. Everybody.
you should be. I mean,
Whether
it's a
you're a
champ-
Lions fan or not.
It's
whether
a champion. Like Anson, I'm going to speak our language. It's a champagne game.
Oh, it is.
We haven't had a like when's the
Only one.
The Jared
When-
Goff
when old
perfect
boy went
game.
perfect.
Jared Goff perfect game was the only champagne bottle we popped this
Do you
season.
remember like a few years ago we were like, man, imagine one day we're like, we only pop champagne for like big events.
Yeah, and we're here.
All right.
We are.
It was just a high dream back then.
Oh no!
Now it's
'cause
reality.
Before it was for a first down, we'd fucking pop champagne. Oh my God! they
literally,
didn't
if
get
we
blown
won
out
it-
by 50.
No, I
Like-
remember before I even worked here, I used to be a viewer, man. And the day y'all got to crack that champagne on the Vikings, bro, I felt so good for y'all, man. That was crazy.
I don't think champagne's ever tasted sweeter.
No, for
honestly,
real. Y'all
that-
deserve that. Y'all went through a rough go of it, man. I used to watch them post-game shows. Y'all went through a rough go.
And that whole game, like, was so up and down. Like, we dominated the first half. We fourth down, Dan gambled the whole second half
Yep.
away. We
Before
were
we
talking
knew
about
what Dan
all,
Campbell
Yes.
was.
We were
Right.
questioning him left and right.
He was sharpening his
we were
sword
talking
back
like,
then.
but this St. Brown kid's not bad.
Yeah, right.
You know, this Panay Sewell guy is not bad. And then somehow we go from 0-10-1 to 1-10-1, and ever since then, it's just been a different culture.
Well, with a 1-6 gap in between. Hard Knocks, man. I blame Hard Knocks. 'Cause
Now-
whenever you get featured on Hard Knocks, you're going to suck during a certain part of the season.
There's two things in my head that turned it all around for this franchise. One, when Sheila when Sheila Hamp came down, when the team was sucking ass, they were 1-6, and she stood behind her guys and said, "No, we're on to something here. I
Yeah.
trust these guys."
People don't
That
realize
was
how
hu-
big that was.
That was huge.
Because the
that was
Fords
huge.
notoriously would have shitty seasons and not give you a lick.
They'd
They
sit,
nothing.
they'd sit in
They
their
don't
ivory
care.
tower and never come down and speak to you. She came down floor level, didn't do
Yeah.
a press conference.
And took the heat.
Stood there on the field.
She
and,
sure did.
And she even took the heat, if
Like,
you remember, even
at the
the
Calvin
year
shit.
before with the Calvin shit. And
Yeah.
she had nothing to do with the Calvin
And
shit.
even if you go back to that, the Matt Patricia had on face at the Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
game.
well, that was when that was over for Matt
Yeah.
Patricia. She's the first owner of the Detroit Lions to put on restrictions and enforce them when they weren't met.
Right.
She told Matt Patricia, "You better
Hey,
win."
win now.
And when they didn't, get the fuck out.
And this
get
is
out.
And this is a man's game.
Yeah.
And we've seen what, 2 or 3 William Clay and William Clay Ford Jr., a bunch of generations of men in the Ford family that were apathetic to this team.
Yeah.
And this woman, she's a former athlete at a college level, from what I heard, right?
I don't know that, but
I was
it
told
wouldn't
that
surprise
today.
me.
Regardless of her background, she's a competitive woman.
Yep.
She's business.
You an aggressive woman.
She came in and literally silenced 50 years of Detroit fans asking for the Ford family to sell.
Yeah.
Hats off, Sheila.
Yep.
We love you.
Yeah, Sheila, love you.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you. And then the second thing that totally changed the future of the franchise, I started dating my wife.
Hey, shout out.
When I started, what's that? 14 wins.
That's
Matt,
right.
Matt
Crazy.
knows. Matt, one of the bartenders here at Hayes Social.
Shout out, Matt.
He knows. He's one of the OGs. He's been a real fan, even when they sucked dick.
I remember 91, we beat the Cowboys. It was like 41-10 or something like that. Phenomenal. Yeah. And you know what? I think in a way it's a good move that Dan Campbell kept the guys in, but it still makes me a bit nervous, you know. But you know what? They're fired up. They're ready to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. But yeah, that's what Dan Campbell does. Listen, you can go back and watch all the post-game shows that we've been doing for 4 years, and I have never been comfortable with the fourth downs, ever. That's not. I'm growing more comfortable to it. It works and then it doesn't work. It works 45% of the time. 45% of the time, it works every time.
Hey, that's fine. if that's Steph Curry back there, then we living with it.
Hey, listen, it's fine. I don't hold it against Dan Campbell, and that's what both things can be true. I can be a little reserved on me. I personally wouldn't do that. But also, this guy is taking us to the best place I've ever been. Yeah. So I'm going to shut the fuck up and let him do what he wants to do. I don't have to like it over here on the sidelines, but I do have to accept it. And I've accepted it with Dan Campbell. I've embraced it, and I love it. But I also
say cap. Because you know what?
Did you just learn that phrase? Because you've used that like 18 times
No,
today.
we do cap or not cap with Braylon. I kind of hate the word, but I'm going to say it. Since you have run Woodward Sports, bro, you have put the faith in the team on fourth down every fucking time.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you have. Because flat out, if you had a team like you do right now that you have full faith in, you're going to put them out there and say, no, we're not punting it. We're not putting it in their hands. I have faith in you, and that's what you've done for almost 5 years now here. So, cap.
I appreciate that. I do
Am
appreciate
I wrong? Am I wrong, KG?
You're not wrong.
I do appreciate that, but also there's times to be aggressive and there's times to be,
Hey, we kicked some field goals today.
Yeah, we did kick some important field goals today that weren't kicked in the NFC Championship game last year.
But you know what? What did we do on fourth down? We're 3 or 4 today?
Yeah. I don't.
All the ones that matter, baby.
Yeah. Well, the one before.
Don't sell yourself short, bro.
No, I'm not selling myself short, but I also
believe in your people, and that's what he does.
But I also want to put my people in the best position to win.
And you
Dan
have,
Campbell
bro.
Always gonna do that.
Exactly.
Listen, chances make champions, man, and you got to at least respect the fact that your head coach is going to give it all he has.
Yeah, it's empowering if you're a player. It's definitely empowering as a player, but that still doesn't mean me as a fan is comfortable with it every single time, and it doesn't mean that I also hate it.
He's not comfortable with it either, man.
I think he is.
How many times have you seen him?
He's comfortable. You got to be comfortable.
Everybody else's balls go up in their stomach.
Right.
His just get bigger on
to make the decisions he makes. You have to be confident.
But we've seen times where he was going to kick, and he's let his quarterback or somebody else talk him out of it.
He's learned from that, though.
That's one of those. That's one of those girls that tell you no, but all they really want to do is be pressed for it. Like, that's what Dan Campbell is. I don't want to go for it. Oh, come on, don't you? Oh, okay.
You know what?
Okay, I normally don't. But on this occasion, I will.
I ain't brown-nosing right now, but you know what? There is a direct parallel between you and Dan Campbell. Not only your rival in Detroit. I know you've been here for a long time, but the arrival of Woodward and Detroit Lions, the new look, the BNL, they coincide, man.
That's true.
And to be honest with you, bro, like you taking the handcuffs off, like the traditional way a network's supposed to be born, you got to watch your P's and Q's. You know, this guy messed up here, so I'm not bringing him on. No, bro, you embrace all the personalities that maybe push the envelope too far.
Well, that's what makes you great is the fuck-ups, right?
Yeah, and you brought them in. You encouraged them to keep being who they were, the exact same way that Dan Campbell has. I'm just seeing it right now.
Uh-oh.
Listen, the growth of this network directly corresponds with the Detroit Lions' growth. And the two of you guys,
it really does.
The two of you guys, you and Dan Campbell, ain't that far away from each other. And I know you're my boy, and I know that might seem crazy, and I might just be kissing my buddy's ass here, but the fact of the matter is, these two, the network and the Lions, have come up through belief in the culture of their people.
Culture's everything.
And when it comes down to fourth down, I know you're going to put the ball in our hands, just the same way that Dan Campbell keeps doing with his boys, the Detroit Lions of 2024.
Well, I definitely appreciate the sentiment. Wheezy D313, Stick got that Jim Caldwell in him. You want to lose with the stoic face, and I do love Jim Caldwell. To me, Jim Caldwell before Dan Campbell.
For real. He don't get enough love for what he brought
Oh, my
back.
God. People are so ignorant. Like, he reset our floor.
Yeah,
and you know how hard that's to do in an organization?
It's a very low floor.
He's the only consistent winner I ever saw in my Lions lifetime.
Before
Dan Campbell.
3 out of 4 years of winning. 3 out of 4 years of winning record in the playoffs. 2 out of 4 years. The best coach I ever saw on the Lions
sideline. We've had two coaches
was Jim
before
Caldwell.
Dan Campbell. It was Mr. Well, I'll say it, Cocaine Wayne, and then our boy that you're just talking about. But other than that, like, nobody has sustained success.
Yeah.
All of these guys got flack when they first came here, but then that flack continued and continued.
Yeah.
The trajectory that Dan Campbell is on, like, what are you going to call into question? 4th down?
Yeah.
Okay. And listen, at the time, I understood the decision to try and, get over the hump and maybe go to that next level. To me, it was who they chose. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's what 313 Thug Boss. Caldwell was let go for a reason with a trash can.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't. Don't put the trash.
You know what the reason was? 9 and 8 wasn't good enough.
Exactly.
Or 9 and 7 wasn't good enough.
And I can understand the reasoning you trying to get to
but
that
then
next
you
level
won
as a
3
franchise.
games the next year.
But
so
yet,
9
like
and 7 was good enough.
You picked the guy that came in here and tried to change the culture in the wrong way. He thought that Patriot shit was going to work over here instead of trying to build it organically, and it didn't work.
Honestly, to me, it really wasn't about the Patriot way. It was about his just pure arrogance, and
But that's part of the Patriot way.
Yeah, but no, you can have that when you're Bill Belichick,
exactly.
Right? Bill Belichick wasn't that Bill Belichick when he was with the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
He turned into that over time with gaining success.
Because he kept winning, yeah.
And
it's pressure
and
when
then
you
all
keep
of a
winning.
sudden, Matt Patricia comes in, and he sees it done this way, and he thinks, I can do that. I can walk in.
True.
I can discredit people. But when you don't have the stripes, it doesn't come off the same way.
But
it's
that's
like, who
the
the
illusion.
fuck are you?
But that's the illusion of the Patriot way, because Tom Brady broke from the Patriot way and proved that, okay, I was a big part of this.
Hey, let's all accept the facts. If Jim Caldwell stays one more year, we don't have Dan Campbell.
You don't know.
No, Matt
we know
Patricia was a necessary evil to get to Dan
listen,
Campbell.
Caldwell stays one more year. Patricia probably doesn't come here. Somebody else comes here. Something completely different happens.
And how about Dan Campbell doesn't even get a job?
God delivered us.
He was on nobody's radar.
God delivered us, KG. This is a gift from God.
It's the prophecy. It's the prophecy,
the
man.
gospel.
Yeah, that's the prophecy.
Gospel.
Taking
the
shape.
gospel.
Oh, yeah, I've been preaching
All
that.
this shit is pre-written, man. It's out of our hands.
Yeah.
It's out of our hands, man.
All right. Well, I don't know how the fuck we wound up on Matt Patricia, but I don't want to end the show talking about Matt Patricia.
True.
Score predictions. We try to get them in. What's your score prediction for Sunday Night Football, Anson?
Well, he got to pass in the studio today, so I'm going to put the pressure on you, give myself an extra minute. KG, what you think?
Come on, KG.
It's so early, man.
I know, but this is the way too early predictions, man. It's okay.
I guess.
I'm not going to hold you to this.
All right.
But
Well,
I will.
I think it's going to be a close game, of course. Give me 27-23.
Oof, way too low scoring.
Yeah, but it's going to be that type of game.
49-42.
It's going to be that type of game.
It's going to be that.
Whoever makes the less amount of mistakes will win.
It's going to be similar to what we saw today.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
34-31 Lions at home,
Jake
taking
Bates.
care of business.
It
To
might
be
turn
honest
into
with
a
you,
shootout.
that last score comes from the Vikings to make it kind of close.
Okay.
Lions control the majority of the game. They got to come out, and they got to come out with a sense of urgency in the first quarter the way they did not the last time they played the Vikings. And to be honest with you, they held. Well, they held. That's what we want.
Yes.
All right.
Ideally,
They don't need to. Listen, this Lions team can win any and every way. But I don't want to see them come out the way they did the last time against the Vikings. I don't want to see them come out the way they did today.
Yeah.
I want to see them come out and handle business and dictate tempo.
Angelica White, Vikings in the under, book it. Okay.
So how about this question? Lions win the coin flip. Are they receiving or going on defense?
Oh, they're going on defense.
Yeah, you need that ball in the second half,
100.
just in case.
They're taking the ball.
Oh, you think so?
They're taking the ball.
Nah.
Dan Campbell has a
Set the
history of
tone.
doing this.
Set the tone.
Make them chase
at
you.
home,
Make them
In
chase
case
you all game long.
anything happens, like the Lions getting the ball after the half today was crucial. In
Right.
case anything goes wrong, you need that ball in the second half. Or if things go right, now you can pile on. So I think they take the ball in the second half. It's too important in a game like that.
I think that's an interesting question. And
Yo, defense got to go out there
because
and
they've
try
done
and
it
make
a
play.
couple times this season where they've taken the ball first. I don't think it's worked out the couple of times that they've done it, but I could see them being
today.
like, "Hey, we need to get out and make these motherfuckers chase us for the next 60 minutes."
But, hey, it worked today. So
43-43 tie. 313 Thug Boss. Well, the good news is the tie now would go to us because of the win today. That honestly, that was the biggest benefit of this win
That
against the
bothered
49ers.
me so much. The fact that people that Lions fans were
They
were reserved to the idea that we were going to lose and that we were worrying about a tie. Something that happens less than once a year over the last 40 years.
Yeah.
When are you going to have faith in this team?
People were just grasping at straws to try to make this game more important than it actually was.
Stop grasping, though.
Yeah.
Start manifesting. Start praying and believing positively for this team. Because, honestly, like, it's not just a team. It's a fan base. It's a whole city. It's a whole state. That's what we see on the road. This whole fan base shows up. So these people, Lions aren't immune to human stuff. Like, some of the printed word gets to them. Some of that non-faith from their fan base might get to them as well. If they have not created trust and belief in this fan base through the last 2 years, I don't know what team you're watching.
At this point, it's like football, bro. Throw your fours up. We are in the final stretch.
Yep.
4 games left.
Go get them.
We just came out of the third quarter. The playoffs is the fourth.
It's going to be such a fun week. And
Yeah.
I love this week's going to be more fun than the playoffs because, like I said, there is an element of you're not completely stressed because there will be a next week.
But every
no matter
game
what
from
happens.
this point means everything.
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's
it
cool.
does. This
It's
high
cool.
stakes poker now.
Yeah,
Like, this is
it.
real shit right now.
Put your nuts on the table, and that's what the Lions do best. Thank you guys for being a part of the post-game show here
Yes.
at
I
Hayes
gotta
Social.
go.
My name is Stick. Yeah, we're going to have a long day tomorrow, KG.
I'm on the desk. Sam ain't coming in.
What the? Where's Flannel?
He's sick.
Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm on the desk.
He's sick because J-Mo.
Cutting sleeves off his shirt.
So make sure y'all tuned in to the Woo, man. Me and
Damn,
Kool-Aid
man.
gonna put
All
on
right.
the show.
Yeah, no, we had a long day today. Started out at Feldman. Actually started out with Wake Up Woodward with Terry Foster, or not Wake Up Woodward, Woodward at Maine with Terry Foster and Broder. They're going to be back at it 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. All the Lions that you can handle. Then, of course, Wake Up Woodward, followed by Neil Rule is back, baby,
Yes,
on
sir.
Big D Energy.
Pure and unadulterated.
The tone will be there tomorrow from 11 to 1
Live
right
and in
here on
person.
Woodward Sports. Ermanni and Edwards, Anson and I will be filling in on that show again. Then, of course, the heavyweights doing heavyweight tings from 5 to 7 right here on Woodward Sports. Make sure you're smashing. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing to Woodward Sports. We couldn't be here without you. What you laughing about over there?
Nah, Neil Trudell. His comment in the chat was funny.
What was Neil True?
Come on, don't go read.
Where is it?
You've been on the laugh all night.
Was it
dog.
the
poking at
Was it
Anson?
about
It was just
Anson?
fun, yeah.
The partially racist drunk guy is right. You got to believe.
I love our chat
true
members.
white boy right
Anson, we love
Anson's
you.
the furthest thing. If anything, Anson hates white people more than anything.
we know.
Spoken like a true
We know.
suburban white boy in the chat
see?
right there.
Nah, Anson, you know it's all love.
I'll tell you what,
We
man.
just
I'm
poke
at
fun at
7 Mile and Outer. You come on through to my
There you
next
go.
cookout this
Here you
summer,
go.
dog.
Come out to my
You
cookout.
afraid?
Come out to my
Well,
cookout.
You afraid, dog?
Me to beat it, that's all, folks.
Anson inviting people to the cookout. Just give us sexy
You
Jake
don't even
Bates.
know, dog.
Hump,
I
hump
got
in the
you.
air on the way out, please.
Yes, sir. I got
Thank you,
you, man.
guys. Great post-game show. We'll see you next week live at Hayes Social.
Hasn't gotten any treatment from the medical staff, but he was on his left hip. He had a softball. You've probably done that at home when you've had like a knot in your body somewhere. That's what it looked like he was doing. Okay. Now he